Super Chemtone.
The 53,000 Super Chemtone dealers from coast to coast who sell America's favorite washable wall paint, the wall paint that makes the rooms in your home look lovelier.
Super Chemtone.
Present the Ray Bolger Show. Where's Raymond? Starring Ray Bolger as Raymond Wallace. With Alan Jocelyn as Jonathan. Tired of the way that room looks? Want to make it more beautiful? With Super Chemtone wall paint, it's almost this easy. You see, it's the color on your walls that gives beauty to your rooms. No matter how expensively furnished your rooms may be, a few dollars worth of Super Chemtone can make them even more beautiful. Super Chemtone is so easy to use and goes on so fast, you can have a brand new room in just one day. You see, this roller coater covers a large area. It rolls the paint over your walls smoothly and evenly, and you'll always have a beautiful finish because finger smudges, dirt, and even crayon marks can be washed right off. Why not make your home more beautiful with Super Chemtone? It's the new latex wall paint that's guaranteed washable.
Wish you could get those chorus girls to take a little care of their costumes, and instead of hanging them up, they just kick them into a corner someplace.
Well, they'll never sprain anything kicking those costumes.
George, please, I wish you wouldn't be so funny. My stomach just aches all the time from laughing.
Don't ever tell me that prayers aren't answered.
You heard him. Don't ever tell him that.
After all these years, after all the time I spent dreaming about it, planning what I'd do, guess who's coming to the theater tomorrow night with his wife?
Who?
Lieutenant Wayne Oglemeyer. That no-good, backbiting, baby-faced, sneering, sadistic skunk of a second lieutenant who ruined my life in 42 at Fort Ord.
You seem to place him all right.
Oh, I place him. He wants me to join him after the show. He knew the nights I spent mentally running him barefoot over acres and acres of hot rocks.
We're on, Ray.
The games I planned for just the two of us after the war was over. Games where I spent all 4 quarters running up and down his spine in cleated shoes.
You're on, Ray.
I promised myself that I'd track down Oglemeyer after the war was over.
Ray, there's your music.
No matter what remote and infested rat's nest he chose to hole up in. And furthermore, Oglemeyer went to night school to learn to be a bigger rat.
All right, Oglemeyer.
There is no such thing as a right Oglemeyer. They're all miserable little second lieutenants with sneers on their faces who go through life stepping on people's toes and sticking pins in people's babies. There he is there. That sneaky-looking one with the narrow, squinty eyes.
Why, I think he's nice looking.
Nice looking?
Yes.
Do you consider medieval torturers nice looking? Or convicted axe murderers?
I don't know, but I think he is.
Lieutenant Oglemeyer? He's nice looking the way horrible accidents are nice looking.
Sorry, I have an opinion.
He was a no-good, cheap ribbon salesman from Penelope's Gap, Idaho department store who swindles himself a commission.
I was hoping you'd slept that off.
Oh, hello.
Morning, darling. Why don't you try to forget about him?
Try and forget about him, but even now I can hear his sneering voice. He couldn't even coochie-coochie a baby without sneering. Don't expect any special consideration for me because you're in show business, Wallace. I know you were in show business. I never heard of you.
Oh, so that was it.
No, that wasn't it.
Oh, really, Ray? We all had men over us that we felt that way about, but the war is over. We've forgotten it.
Well, that's what I like about me. I never forget. No, Lieutenant Oglemeyer, I haven't forgotten the time you had me scrub the floor of the orderly room 18 times with a fingernail brush. And now, just like nothing had ever happened, just like we were real buddies, would I like to go out after the show and meet his wife? His wife! I'll bet they spent most of their time courting in the visitors' room of a reform school.
Raymond, what a thing to say.
Well, who but a confirmed delinquent would marry Lieutenant Oglemeyer? Wait till I get...
Oh, Ray, you wouldn't mess up the show for some silly grudge.
After the show, dear brother Jonathan. After the show. Glad to see you, Lieutenant. How did you like the show? Oh, please, a long time to get on there. And that, Lieutenant Oglemeyer, was for the time that you kept me running all over the drill field with a full pack on my back for 3 hours, singing Waltzing Matilda around all the time. Waltzing Matilda. Waltzing Matilda. Waltzing Matilda. Waltzing Matilda around.
I think he's lost his mind.
Well, let's don't advertise for it.
The mills of the gods grind slowly, but they've finally gotten around to Oglemeyer. And between the mills and me, he should have picked the Navy.
I wonder if you can go to court and legally change your brother.
And just in the remote event that my foot should slip, or he should land a lucky punch, I want you to be there and take over and finish the job, Pete. What do you say, Pete?
I'm just going to ask you once more not to bring me any more of your personal problems. You always handle them so terribly. It just reflects on anyone who gets himself involved with you. Look at you. Your feelings are hurt again.
My feelings are not hurt. You've got a nerve to ask me not to involve you. You who was responsible for me spending a freezing night in a 50-mile wind on the outside ledge of an 18-story apartment building.
Well, how'd I know he'd been arrested and that the birthday party was off?
Help me surprise a friend, you said. We can get out on the ledge from the empty apartment next door, crawl along, jump into his window, and yell, "Surprise!"
And also, how did I know that that ledge was too narrow to turn around and crawl back? Or that the police closed all the windows when they took him to jail. Or the time you asked me to endorse your brother-in-law's organization. Packages for Latvia to help the underprivileged Latvian children. Well, you didn't work too hard on that. Only enough to find out that your brother-in-law was the Latvian. And that it was his own 8 kids that he considered underprivileged. Are you going to help me with this, Lieutenant Oglemeyer? No, I'm not, because it's silly. And because the same thing will happen that happened that time in high school. What are you talking about? All summer long, you rave about what you're going to do to Maurice Masterson on the first day of school. I'm going to pull out his lower lip, stretch it around, and nail it to the back of his neck.
All right, Pete, forget it.
All summer long, that's all you could talk about. And then when school finally opened, nothing. Well, that was the summer that Maurice Masterson grew over 4 inches and put on 23 pounds. I might have got myself killed if I hadn't very cleverly made a lifetime friend out of Maurice. Maybe Oglemeyer's grown. That wouldn't make any difference. Are you going to back me up with this thing or not? No, I'm not. All right, Pete. Well, I should think so. And please don't say anything like, it's nice to find out who your real friends are. I wasn't going to say anything like that. Of course, what I'm thinking is my own business. Just feel that I can find better things to do with my time at my age. Like sitting on a ledge. So if you've got to get yourself all worked up in another Maurice Masterson deal, you can do it without any involvement on my part. And I wouldn't care to hear how it turns out, either.
Would you mind paying for these, please?
You certainly can find out who your real friends are. How about you, Joan? You still going out with us after the show tonight?
I don't know. You, one of the nicest, warmest guys in the world. And all of a sudden you're talking like Humphrey Bogart when he was 12.
Well, you'll be glad to hear that the time for talking is over. Meet me backstage?
All right, killer. But I'm depending on your knife instincts to take over before then.
Has it occurred to you that's probably what Lieutenant Oglemeyer is counting on, too? But this time he's built his miserable little house on sands that are built on sands. Glad to see you, Lieutenant. How did you like the show? Humphrey Bogart at 14.
You know, whether you like to do your own painting or have it done by a painting contractor, here's the paint you should insist on. Super Chemtone. With Super Chemtone, you get a smooth finish that's so rubber tough, it actually resists dirt. You can wash it again and again and still have that beautiful finish. And Super Chemtone goes on your walls fast and easily, whether you use a brush or the roller coater, which lets you paint a strip 7 inches wide and 2 or 3 feet long in one quick roll. It's inexpensive, too. A gallon of Super Chemtone, enough for the walls of an average-sized room, costs only $5.45. For matching colors on woodwork and trim, use Chem Glow. It's America's favorite enamel for kitchens and bathrooms, too. To make your home more beautiful, be sure to ask for Chem Glow and Super Chemtone.
All right.
Hi,
Hello, June.
Thomas.
I haven't gotten to see nearly enough of you lately. How's the coffee business?
Don't sell any of your government bonds to go in with me.
Really? I thought Ray and Pete Morrissey drank enough coffee at your place to keep you going.
They had such a short argument today, it hardly paid me to open at all.
Johnny, come here. Jonathan. He's here. He's here. There he is, out there, on the aisle, in the second row. with his fat, foolish, fatuous face smirking all over the place. He's in for a few abrupt jolts tonight.
You aren't going to do anything silly from the stage.
Just a few minor changes in the army sketches should blister their way to his heart.
Come on, Ray, you're on.
Have you ever seen him this way before, Jonathan?
Well, I've seen him so many different peculiar ways, I just can't offhand...
Well, I mean belligerent like this.
No, this is one he's spared us up till now. Ray's really the mildest of people, but the war changed a lot of men, they say.
So did Lieutenant Oglemeyer's arrival in town.
Martin!
What did you do that for?
Lieutenant Oglemeyer wants to see you, Private Peavy.
I've been getting myself ready mentally all morning, Sergeant Sleep.
You see a lot of the Lieutenant, Peavy. Have you ever been able to turn up even the slightest evidence that Lieutenant Oglemeyer occasionally thinks?
The other day, when he was just sitting there with that vacant, staring look for about 6 hours, suddenly a slight flicker of expression came over his face, and I had a hope.
Yes?
But we found out he'd been sitting on his desk spindle all morning, and the feeling was just beginning to penetrate.
Well, I'd like to tell you, Peavy, that all the men just think it's grand the way you take care of Lieutenant Oglemeyer and see that he doesn't forget to dress every morning.
It's little enough. Well, I guess I better go do my duty.
Courage.
Private Peavy reporting, sir. Lieutenant Oglemeyer, we're supposed to return the salute of an enlisted man. Remember? Lieutenant Oglemeyer, salute. Up, Kiki. Up. Very good. We are making progress, Lieutenant Oglemeyer. But now take it easy. The day is early. Now, have we remembered to put our shoes on our right feet this morning? Oh, fine. We are making progress. But just one more little thing. The socks go inside the shoes, not outside. Remember? Ah, well, we are whizzing along, Lieutenant Oglemeyer.
It's come, sir, it's come.
Sarge, look what you've done.
Sorry, Peavy.
Easy, easy.
Lieutenant Oglemeyer, it's arrived, sir. After all these months. Lieutenant Oglemeyer, your promotion, sir. You're now a full-fledged captain.
That's all right, Lieutenant Oglemeyer. I'll work with him on it, Sergeant. And I think I'll get through to him before the colonel comes down to pin his bars on him. And you'd better go right up and start working with the colonel, so he'll be sure and be able to find his way down here.
Right.
Captain. 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 Captain.
Good night, Pop.
Well, what happens? Are the Oglemeyers coming backstage?
After that sketch, he'd probably tear off a wall at the theater to get backstage. You girls keep Ray where George can jump in, and I'll try to head off Oglemeyer.
How did you like that slight rewrite on the sketch?
Oh, fine. I hope the good lieutenant isn't stuffy about being ripped to shreds.
I figured we'd get him in a good, angry mood to start off the festivities.
Hello, there were the Oglemeyers. Is Ray around?
Oh, well, how do you do? I'm Ray's brother.
How do you do?
Here we go.
There he is. Ray, boy, how are you? Man, it's good to see you. How you been? You're looking great. How to show you? Ray, I want you to meet my wife, Peggy. Honey, this is my old buddy, Ray Wallace.
How do you do, Ray?
This is your wife?
Never thought I'd be able to get anything like this, did you, buddy boy?
No, I didn't. Glad to see you, Lieutenant.
And this is June Morrow, Sylvia Cedric, and George Burgess, our stage manager.
Yes.
Honestly, Ray, I hope you could see Wayne when you were doing that Army thing. He was laughing so hard he fell right off his seat.
We sure did some officers like that, didn't we, buddy boy?
We sure did. Glad to see you, Lieutenant. How'd you like the show?
We have reservations. We're all going to the Algiers Club, Ray.
Wait a minute.
No, don't thank me now, Ray.
And to think I didn't believe him half the time when he told me he knew the Raymond Wallace.
Oh, he knew me all right.
Well, let's go, everybody.
This is really the stuff, Ray boy. When did we tell the folks back at old Penelope's Gap about this, honey?
To a wonderful Raymond Wallace show. Then out to the Algiers Club with a star afterwards.
Hey, Ray, remember that time on the forced march when you were losing all your stuff out of that hole in your pack? We got to the end of the march and you lost everything, and I thought you dumped it on purpose and I made you walk back 20 miles while the rest of us went in trucks. I remember, but...
Men are so silly about some things. Wayne's been like an absolute madman ever since he found out for sure we were going to be able to make this trip to New York. A madman? I mean a real madman. Some officer he used to know lives here in New York. A Major Kirstenkoffer.
Kirstenkoffer, that? Ooh!
See? Just at the mention of Major Kirstenkoffer's name, he chokes all up and his face gets all purple.
You bet I get purple at the thought of that miserable, sarcastic idiot. Oh, I can just hear his sneering voice now. How did you get through officers' training, Oglemeyer? I thought they weeded out all of the congenital morons at the first screening board. Ooh, if I could only get my hands on that...
Calm yourself,
Oh,
Wayne.
well, Ray knows what I mean, don't you, Ray boy?
You, Ray boy?
Yeah, Wayne boy.
Well, I'll bet Ray is just being polite at your childishness, Wayne.
Yeah, Wayne boy. Maybe you are being a bit childish about Kirstenkoffer.
And you listen to Ray, because he knows about being childish.
But Ray, Wayne is actually going to look him up and punch him right in the nose.
Among other places. The Kirstenkoffer's downfall.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I know how pleasant the thought of that must be. But after all, this is another day, another dollar, another life.
To Raymond Wallace, the friendly philosopher.
You think I should forget all about it, buddy boy?
Yes, I do, Wayne boy.
Okay? It's forgotten. But Ray, I gotta tell you, excuse me, I gotta tell you this. When I looked up old Kirstenkoffer in the phone book, I noticed he was still with that poultry products concern. He must have got his old job back after the war. Chicken plucker.
You're a corker.
No. I'm just a ribbon salesman.
No matter where you are, let your throat enjoy smooth smoking. Smoke a Pall-Mall, the finest quality money can buy. No matter what you're doing, let your throat enjoy smooth smoking. There is no substitute for Pall-Mall, the cigarette that is longer and finer, too. Compare Pall-Mall with any short cigarette. Pall-Mall is longer. See for yourself how Pall-Mall's greater length of traditionally fine, mellow tobaccos filters the smoke further. Filters the smoke further on the way to your throat and makes it mild. Compare Pall-Mall with any long cigarette. Pall-Mall is finer, the finest quality money can buy. So let your throat enjoy smooth smoking. Smoke Pall-Mall, the cigarette that changed America's smoking habits. Guard against throat scratch. Discover a smoothness, mildness, and satisfaction no other cigarette of any length can offer. Smoke Pall-Mall famous cigarettes. Outstanding. And they are mild.
Well, that was certainly some fight. I thought sure he had you in the third round, Primo.
I certainly did carry on about that Oglemeyer, didn't I?
Why, I didn't notice a thing.
You know something funny?
What?
I always kind of liked that Major Kirsten Copper. Oglemeyer was probably just imagining those things. About him. Good night. That's me. That's right. Tonight's show is brought to you by the 53,000 Super Chemtone dealers from coast to coast, who sell America's favorite washable wall paint. Super Chemtone. Use it, folks. It'll make your home look lovelier than ever. And be with us again next week. We'll be back. Brought to you by the American Tobacco Company.
Again next week for Where's Raymond, starring Ray Bolger. Tonight's show was brought to you by Super Chemtone.